Praise to Manjushri, White Lotus that shines from within, on page 156. Like the Kamala and the shiny white face of the full moon, your surface and depths are clear, misery and its fruits extinguished. To whom victors and their children direct their encomium, our perfect protector is Manjughosha. You possess 100 and more exquisite marks and signs, and mastery of every mellifluent chord of Brahma's speech. The state from which innately pure tea and beer unimpededly appear, Manjughosha is luminous like the glorious full moon. Mother Tara, Zambala, and those versed in other tongues, all place their blazing plates atop your lotus feet. Now you bear the name Father of Victors and their scions. Manjughosha has fully purified sickness, aging, and hindrances. Appearing parts are sharpest figures in a patra pattern, yet beyond the furthest limits, beyond distinction in the nada. Latent patterns, fine and coarse, woven like strands in a spider's web, are not abandoned but purified from within Manjughosha. Sata blossoms, fertile orchards, water of 8 qualities, medicinal plants that dispel ailments of heat and cold. Lotus bunches, wine of fine vintage, and whatever fine things I can vividly imagine or perceive, for others' sake, Manjughosha receives. To me and the rest of the disabled, the perfect object is invisible. Our attention is wholly absorbed in eating, sleeping, moving about. This pathetic and tiresome, well-worn course always wears us out. Manjughosha, won't you eliminate our treacherous habits? Our thoughts, hard and intractable as thorns, bring us down. Even those that seem pure are stuck in extremes of real and unreal. And so the torn flesh and dripping blood of bad karma endlessly accrues. Manjughosha, won't you remove the roadblocks on the paths and grounds? Through perfect praise with the endless refrain of awe and the most reverential thoughts and homages, may my recall of Manjughosha grow in measure until I eternally abide in the distinctive glow of the inner light. With nothing to clarify or improve, pristine purity is lucid and soft. Free and pure, the vital points are all there. Endless glory is present. Beyond thought or expression is the profound and vivid mudra mistress. Behold the glory of Manjushri as great as all of space. Non-dual wisdom is the treasury of bliss, virtue, and goodness. It beholds the truth as the wish-granting eye of existence and stillness. All who have sunk to the bottom of utter confusion and lies, who journey in darkness, Lord, please think of them. Turn the wheel of Dharma for the welfare of transient beings. The concluding sections of the sadhana on the following page 160, starting with confession first. In the ocean of past mind streams, the terrible evil mistakes that were made because of the persistent invidious bonds of intense delusion, I reveal and confess all of them with heartfelt remorse. The one who is motivated to guide even when rejected, and when relied upon places great awakening on one's fingertips. The wise spiritual friend, sole eye of qualities, I reveal and confess my failure to serve him properly. Sublime essence among all of the teachings of the Dharma Pitaka, the truly vast and profound meaning that reveals the path to an ocean of awakened conduct. I reveal and confess the grave error of abandoning it. The Munis say that self and others are exactly the same, and honor the realms of sentient beings just like victors. And yet, incapable of fully grasping these points, I generate conflicts and longings. This I reveal and confess. I confess from my heart my actions that obscure the ocean of conduct of victors' sons found in the teachings, including the 6 transcendent virtues and the 4 ornamental displays of the Bodhisattvas. the heaps that definitely turn back the lower realms and deliver one to the comforting release of higher realms. I rejoice in the ocean of positive aspirations and the discipline of alert engagement in the conduct of virtuous, pure dharma. I rejoice in the ocean of liberating deeds that definitely result in the accomplishment of supreme peace, full liberation from existence, through the prajas of learning, reflection, and meditation, which correctly observe the forward and reverse Four Noble Truths. I rejoice in the ocean of disciplines of the superior vehicle, whereby, upon realizing the unsurpassed Buddha Dharma, in order to fully free the ocean of sentient beings, one accumulates great collections of merit and wisdom. Unique features of the Noble Path, such as seeing and receiving teachings from countless victors, they reveal their exalted, unobscured state. I rejoice in the ocean of those familiar with the Tenth Movement. Having discovered the state of twofold purity for their own benefit, and fully pacified the back and forth of deliberate, contrived effort, they persevere in benefiting others as long as the universe endures. I rejoice in the ocean of enlightened activity. Those who are in a position to be urged to serve as lamps for worlds in an ocean of realms in the 10 directions, I implore all of them to release the flow of Amrita and broadcast the great sound of the Dharma drum. Lord, to fully realize the 3 lineages before the monarch of trees and enjoy the discipline of silence. In order to minister to all worlds and their gods, I implore you to turn the paramount Dharma chakra. You who fully cut through artificial thought constructs of self and illustrate how to realize the meaning of ultimate truth, please illuminate well the Dharma chakra of the great ocean of the remarkable noble path, those inclined toward the 3 lineages. Protectors who teach the way beyond misery, who pay close attention to the streaming tears of anguish of those within the miserable hovels of this world. Please remain to liberate beings for as long as samsara endures. To be a merit field for the ocean of the sentient, may the lives of the supreme guides last beyond measure. And as shrines of marks and signs, balm for our eyes, may the goodness of your activity never falter. In all my succession of lifetimes, may I find the support with the special jewels of the 4 remarkable chakras and the complete qualities of the leisures and endowments, and recall the circumstances of my previous lives. By seeing that destructible samsara is like a pit of fire, and yearning for freedom, may I be drawn to follow and take ordination from a peerless teacher, and bring honor to the assembly hall of the ocean of precepts. In particular, may I receive tutelage from a Mahayana master who provides the eye that sees the scriptures, and drinking the elixir of his spoken and formal instructions, discover a great unceasing treasure of insight. May I purify my mind through the stages of the common path, and train in uncontrived bodhicitta, the uncommon essential practice of great beings, and so enter the ocean of conduct of the victor's children. In an extremely peaceful, isolated wilderness, through samadhi that is fully concentrated and undistracted, may I produce an offering of mental and physical pliancy, and so naturally loosen the bonds of desire and emotion. May I pass through the doorway of profound emptiness and interdependence, the supreme method for halting the roots of all faults, and may superior insight that transcends the 5 obscurations, the sun of realization, shine from within. Fine and flawless Dharma eyes for Dharmas, and possessing profound ultimate bodhicitta, through countless millions of aspiration prayers may I reach higher and higher on the noble bhumis. So empowered, accomplishing the samadhi of victor's children, the power of dharani, higher cognition, and perfect awareness, an inconceivable, inexpressible example of freedom, may I complete my journey along the path, attaining the final superlative wisdom kaya and the ocean-like treasure of powers and fearlessness, by the truth of consummating the 3, perfection, maturation, and purification. May the 2 purposes that fulfill all needs and wants be achieved. Offering waters, flowers, incense, butter lamps, scents, food, music, and others actually arranged, and a cloud of offerings created by dharana, vidya, and imagination. I visualize them filling the sky and offer them with reverence. Om Benza Argam Bhajam Pushpe In the realms of pure and impure trainees, the permutations of their names and forms are legion, but they are all one when it comes to training sentient beings. Homage to the fearless performance. Whatever mistakes and errors we have made here, such as through poor preparation, or likewise with impure materials and thoughts, we confess from our hearts in your gracious presence. Om Through the force of this heartfelt supplication, with light rays of strong love and compassion, Manjagosha, along with his mandala filling the sky, an ocean in magnitude, with affection and delighted smiles, dissolve into light, whose energy is that of the unified wisdom of uncomposed dharmata beyond conception, a vibrant cloud mass of blessings which dissolves into the space of one's own faithful mind, such that the sun element, spontaneous, uncontrived wisdom and love, remains there to please transient beings for as long as samsara remains, non-dual in the nature of empty aware Manjushri. Ah. Through the merit, white as the moon, of following the well-spoken sutras in this manner, and properly practicing this ritual for cleansing the sublime realms, may all beings be born in the realm of Sukha. When the time comes for this life's perceptions to fade, may the Sugatas Kayas be on brilliant display. And by their power may suffering and torment not arise, and the transition occur in a state of ease and joy. When I die and pass on without the disruption of another rebirth, may I be born miraculously from the heart of the lotus in the realm of happiness, and be nourished by the joy of perpetually beholding the victor Amitabha, receiving from him the nectar of formal instructions on the vast and profound, and through participating in discussions of Mahayana with the best victor's children, may the water treasure of study spread like the sun. As soon as I am born, may I obtain higher cognitions and powers, observe Buddhas in realms beyond imagining, travel without hindrance in order to worship them, and uphold the Dharma treasuries of all victors, observing the resources of a multitude of fields, and striving to recreate them with fully pure aspirations. May I employ multiple skills to guide all of the beings in impure fields who are beset by disadvantages. In short, by relying upon all of the realizations and abandonments of the 5 paths and 10 grounds, and the exceptional features of superlative fields, may I pass through phenomenal appearances just like mirages, and become just like you, fearless Lord. Om Ye Dharma abounding in marvelous qualities like a golden mountain, the protector of 3 worlds has removed the 3 stains. The Buddha has eyes like the petals of a fully bloomed lotus. His magnificent, genuine, and complete teachings are known throughout the three worlds and revered by gods and humans. The sacred Dharma brings peace to all creatures. Having the holy Dharma, they are rich with auspicious studies, and the Sangha receives alms from gods, humans, and non-gods. The Supreme Community knows modesty and is the basis of glory. May the Lamas, the glory of the teachings, live long. May people who uphold the teachings cover the world's surface. May the wealth and influence of patrons of the teachings increase. May all be auspicious for the teachings Let's do all together, one by one, taking turns, the concise prayer of dedication on page 252. One person will say one verse and then pass to the next person, and everyone will join in at the end of each verse. Page 252, and I will begin. Buddha Bhagavats who dwell in the 10 directions, all Mahasattva Bodhisattvas who reside on the 10 levels, each and every hearer, solitary Buddha, Arhat, and member of the noble Sangha in the past, present, or future, and most kind, venerable gurus who personify the quality of universal great compassion. Please give us your most kind attention.
For the most precious quality Christians as a gathering together here without any exception of all existing groups of virtues that have been or will be accumulated in the times by myself, by others, and by all noble beings, as exemplified by this virtue, may emptiness be rid with compassion.
The episode of the Buddhist transmitted and realized teaching, the sacred cause of joy for all transient beings, the excellent elixir that remedies all suffering.
Ever and always spread and grow throughout the world.
In particular, this precious tradition of Dharma, including the oral translation school of most sacred luminosity, Lama, the oral transmission lineage of Victor's Gandhi, the glorious Sakya, the beauteous mountains of and the Dharma Master of Dharma, all of whom epitomize the consummate refinement of threefold value reason by numerous scholars and siddhas of India and Tibet, like pure input of God, produced from burning cattle and green, and who have masterfully resolved the most vital points of practice of unified sutra and tantra, thrive and flourish in all times, places, and circumstances.
And may they continue for a very long time.
Your Holiness, venerable and saintly guide of gods and humans, the noble supreme white lotus holy, disguised as a human being to fulfill our wishes. Foremost among the many holy beings who uphold the non-sectarian teachings and abide on one or another of the Buddhist levels, may your lives and lotus feet possess a stable Vajra constitution, and may all the channels
of your great waves of enlightened activities widely expand.
May the intentions of the holy spiritual mentors who have journeyed to peace, whoever they might be
entirely fulfilled.
and may their precious
Recurrent emanations embodying wisdom, love, and power swiftly return without any impediment.
May this great congregation of teaching and accomplishment, namely, along with all the other Sangha communities that have totally perfected the non-sectarian system, enjoy harmonious relations and pure discipline, and, in particular, may their path of practice of the three trainings, the study of and the instructions in the transmitted Tripitaka, and their activities within the three domains of teaching and accomplishment never diminish, and
Further and continually expand and increase.
May the structures and monuments of Tibetan Shakti monastery, such as the Charunka Chor Stupa of the Snowy Lands in general, and in particular the Gesa Charitable Welfare Association, be well connected to pure causes, efforts, and intentions, and may all of the many sponsors, men and women, who have placed their hopes upon and entrusted themselves to them, be relieved of their physical ailments and mental suffering, and have all good things and supportive conditions in their lives expand like the face of the waxing moon, such that in this very life
All of their purposes will be accomplished
exactly
as they wish.
and later on
They will readily take birth in one of the ocean of pure realms, like Sukhavati or Shambhala to the north, and there discover complete happiness.
Moreover, may left-hand wrong actions, obscurations, and habitual tendencies of all those living or dead, which whom I and others have positively or negatively connected by karma, be exhausted swiftly and surely,
So that they readily attain the supreme state of liberation.
Presumably, watchdog, horses, cattle, sheep, and other creatures that helped us in a variety of ways on the distant path until now, with their flesh, blood, heart, spirit, or good judgment, and in particular those gentle sentient beings, whose goodness we have repaid with ingratitude and harm, to cold-blooded virtue or slaughter, selling them to butchers and delivering them to special houses, directly causing the experience of flesh, else she's suffering from them. May all of the bad karma be tested, and without regard to life, or concern with death,
May they each obtain a marvelous physical support and the holy causes for taking rebirth in our realm like Devachan.
May the misfortunes of disease, famine, and warfare vanish from every corner of our world, with this land serving as prime example, and may timely rains fall, every measure of wealth increase, and all human beings get along, treating one another like beloved members of one family,
So that all may realize good fortune and genuine happiness.
in some the compassion and blessing of the Guru, and the three precious, rare and sublime jewels, and all of our own virtuous thoughts, through the power of each and every fully pure respiration prayer, we have managed to offer in reliance upon the primal purity of Dhamma, and the power and force of infallible dharmas of cause and effect.
May our dedications be accomplished exactly as we intend, everyone. As heroic Manjushri realized, so too did Samantabhadra. I will emulate them both and perfectly dedicate all of this virtue. With the dedication that is most highly praised by all victors enlightened in the three times, I too fully dedicate all of these roots of virtue towards excellence of conduct. May the outstanding limitless merit obtained through proper dedication of excellent conduct deliver beings who are drowning in a torrent of suffering to the sublime realm of Amitabha. And finally, the modest longevity prayer for His Holiness the Dalai Lama on page 174. Born born within the space of the unborn noble lady, an ocean treasury of connate magical marvels of freedom, possessing kyres as numerous as all atoms in existence. Victors and your children, I call out to you with yearning. Upon all those who simply hear your name, you confer a feast of eternal life, and you possess the power of Dharmata, which dissolves all signs of decay. Ocean of Vidyadhara life deities, give me your attention now. Until sentient beings who fill the universe reach the level of utmost happiness, you remain singularly and courageously dedicated to their service. Lord Tenzin Jamso, please protect me in all lifetimes. From the immaculate, utterly tranquil Pati, with a force of wisdom that sees the three realms as illusions, and compassion that perceives the six classes of beings as parents, I pray that this Lord of the Snowlands live for 100 eons. By the bodhicitta of an ocean of victors and their children, and the blessings of infallible truth, I pray that the white lotus, the Lord of the Snowlands, born to be the crowning glory of these snowy mountain ranges, live for 100 years. In these times of passion, aggression, and cruelty, when darkness is closed in, Lord of the Snowlands, whose calming and cooling moonbeams cause the night jasmine of living beings' hopes to blossom, I pray that you live 100 years. As fearsome as the thoughts and deeds of the crooked may be, that is how dedicated you are to the path of loving kindness. Resolved to make every sacrifice for the sake of relative truth, I pray that this Lord of the Snowlands lives for 100 years. Connected to each and every genuine school of thought, you appreciate their unique approaches to basis, result, and path. Lofty like the peaks of victory banners of the succession of victors, I pray that this Lord of the Snowlands live for 100 eons. Before your panoramic gaze of purest love, high and low, rich and poor are given equal regard. Lord of the Snowlands, who spread a feast of unerring advice, I pray that you live for 100 eons. As your firm and wise lotus feet travel like the sphere of the sun across this world, just like that, self-important views and theories are abandoned, and cause and effect are expounded. Lord of the Snowlands, I pray that you live 100 years. Taking the systems of India and Tibetan scholars and saints as a foundation, and extracting the essence from remarkable new sources of knowledge, you fulfill the wishes of the living beings of our times. Lord of the Snowlands, I pray that you live 100 years. With the offering to you alone of this upala of praise and honor, using the conventions and devices of peace and happiness, and by our true words of unchanging faith and samaya, Lord of the Snowlands, I pray that you live 100 years. May the lotus feet of the Lamas, the glory of the teaching, stand firm. May individuals who uphold the doctrine cover the entire globe. May patrons of the teachings grow in wealth and the Buddhist teachings remain for a long time. May the teachings, the sole source of health and happiness, remain for a long time. And may the lives and lotus feet of supreme masters who uphold the teachings remain forever. Chanju Sencho Rinpoche, Maji Nam Jejurche, Cheva Nyamba Mepa, Kone Kondu Pewar Shor, Chewa Kondu Yanda Lama Dam, Rame Chichi Bala Lom Chichi, Sadam Lamji Yonzen Rabzone, Doji Gomba Yerdo Shon, Namda Riso Rama Shuguna, Buddha Yeshe Rovar Jamlete, Sazan Aljor Jekon Yamela, Yerbe Tuji Tigle Roshi.
Sempre trouxe uma boa sala, eu gostei, certo? Agora, no quarto, encontramos a reunião sobre that lunch. started 12:15, and we'll gather again here on and as everybody should know, we are on special pilgrimage to the ocean 4 o'clock